Hey guys, it's Ms. Schmidl. So today we're going to be talking about compromises that happened during the Constitutional Convention. So remember that the Articles of Confederation, our first attempt at government in the United States, did not work. There were a lot of things that went wrong for it and a lot of principles that the Constitutional Convention wanted to add back in. So today we're going to look at what are those compromises so we can answer our essential question, which is how does the Constitution reflect conflicts from the past? Later we'll add anticipate its future and look at it currently, but today we're really focusing on the conflicts of the past. And as everyone knows, when you make a compromise, you don't get 100% of what you wanted. There's usually some drawback, and that's a conflict. And so we're going to look at, during the Constitutional Convention, what compromises did our founding fathers have to make. We're also going to work on our annotation skills and our note-taking skills as we go through this reading. As you can see, I did mine on paper, but I have a lot going on my page with my annotations. I haven't numbered my paragraphs. That's one thing I'll have to do and be a better student. But I also have a lot going on with my notes. And so that's one of the skills that we're reviewing is how do you take focus notes and how do you interact with your notes? So we're doing the foundational pieces today, and tomorrow in class we'll do more to focus on those notes and to interact with them. So let me go into our Schoology folder and show you what we're working on. So remember, my folder looks a little bit different than yours since I am your teacher, but I see two things in here, and later there should be a top with our PowerPoint slides for today, our Google Slides. So it says first reading major clash / compromise, and then our graphic organizer. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up the reading, and it says that our question is, how does the U.S. Constitution reflect conflicts of America's past? And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy that because I know that that's going to be my purpose for reading. It says actively read this attached article to learn more about the compromises of the Constitutional Convention. Be sure to follow our annotation process for civics. When you're done reading, fill out the graphic organizer, and then it has a link so you know what it looks like even though it's linked below. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open my assignment with Cami. So it's updating it. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a text box. I'm going to make mine purple. I'm going to put it up here. Yep, 16. I'm going to pick, indie flower. I like that. All right, and I'm going to paste. Oops, Control paste. Control let me. It's doing all kinds of crazy stuff, isn't it? Oh, it might not like it. I thought it would let me copy and paste, but that's okay. We'll just add our text box. I'm glad that I can show you some of the issues that you might be having as you're working. And I'm going to move this. How can I move this thing? There we go. Now I can get it to paste. So how does the Constitution reflect conflicts of America's past? Then I need to go through and I need to number my paragraphs. So I'm going to not do this whole thing for you guys to not waste your time, but it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 paragraphs. So I number those 18 paragraphs. And then I'm going to go back up here to the top and I'm going to read my first paragraph. So it says, what happens when you make a compromise? Do you get everything you want? Doubtful. Compromises don't work like that. You have to be patient, negotiate, and most of all, be willing to give up a little of what you want to a mutually beneficial goal in the end. Now imagine what our country would be like if no one was willing to compromise. I'm going to write a comment here because when I hear that thing and say if no one was willing to compromise, I'm going to remember, that makes me think of our country would have ended a long time ago without compromise. And I'm going to put a comment there because that's a connection I'm making there, okay? And then it says, what happens when compromise? Doubtful. Compromises don't work like that. You have to give up a little bit. So what I'm reading here is that this is setting up that there's going to be some conflicts, okay? So it says, when the delegates met at the Constitutional Convention in 1787, each one has its own state interests in mind. Ooh, that's what I'm going to highlight right there. And then I'm going to put my comment here because that's a good place to make the mention of this is going to lead to conflicts. I'm going to go ahead and comment. Okay, so it says, that's right, all the delegates were men. The Articles of Confederation had established a weak and ineffective government among a confederation of 13 independent states. The delegates needed a document that could replace it with a better functioning government. That wasn't an easy task. To get it, compromises would be key. And so here I have a little, like sidebars, what sometimes these are called, but it's a little text feature here that tells me some more information. One thing that you'll need to notice is these are important and you'll have to read through some of them to help you with your graphic organizer. Okay, the problem with representation. Okay, it says, you know that we have a Senate and a House of Representatives. Our two-chamber legislature is that studies the problems our country faces, proposes solutions, and writes laws. It hasn't always been that way. So if you don't know what legislature is, remember that you can go to the dictionary and you can highlight this word, and it tells you the legislative body of a state. If you don't know what legislative means, you could look that up, but that means to make laws, the body I'm not doing too well with my messed up finger. My comments and stuff have not been going so well. Okay. It has always been that way. Under the Articles of Confederation, Congress had a unicameral. Ooh, that's a really big, important word that they've bolded. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark that up. And I'm going to draw, oops, here's my shape. I'm going to use a shape. I'm going to go ahead and put unicameral in a circle. Okay. No House, no Senate, just one chamber, Congress. Each state had one vote. So unicameral, I'm going to go ahead and put a comment here, must have meant one house of legislature. Okay. And in order to get everything done, like pass the bill, 9 of the 13 states had to agree. Wow. I'm going to highlight that because that is insane. Only 4 of the states could ruin a bill. Okay. If just 4 states disagreed, bills didn't move forward. The system was difficult, and it also wasn't that fair because of equal representation, which is what one vote meant. So equal representation is also another big word that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to circle. So equal representation means that each state got one vote because everyone gets the same. Okay, it's nearly impossible to represent perspectives from different parts of the state. So one vote didn't really listen to those minority groups. Okay, who's repping who? So as we go through, we're going to still keep reading about what happened. You can either work on your graphic organizer as you read, or you can do it at the end. I'm going to do it as we read to save you some time of having to listen to me. So the first thing that we see, our argument here, is that we have to understand how our states going to be represented so it is fair. Okay, so that was the big question that they're answering. Then as I look, I can kind of see some of the things I need to know. So I need to know what New Jersey plan means. I need to know the Virginia plan. I need to know bicameral. I need to know which one has equal representation, which has proportional representation, and what's another name for this compromise. Then I need to know the outcome of what happened. Okay, one thing down here, it says summary using keywords from the text. Well, as I was reading, I was highlighting and circling some of those keywords, and I maybe would want to use this in my definition or my summary. But one thing I will tell you is we're going to go and interact with these notes tomorrow in class. So you don't necessarily have to write your summary here. but I would make sure that you're paying attention to what the keywords are for each section because we'll be doing an activity with that. So you're going to continue to read and fill out these 4 parts of your notes here. This is not due until the end of class on Thursday, and it will be a formative score. Okay, the reason that we're doing that, here I am again, the reason that this is a formative score is we're still practicing interacting with notes now that we're back in a hybrid situation, and I want you to have an ability or a chance to interact with your notes and to mark these back up before I take a look at them. So please don't turn these in at the end of class today. You're going to want to keep them so that you can go back to them and refer. Same thing with the Cami reading. I'm going to extend the deadline to Thursday so that you have time to really annotate your text and to mark it up and to pull those key words into your graphic organizer. Our whole goal on Thursday is to practice processing information and to go back and interact with notes. So your goal for today is to finish reading that text and annotating it, and then to finish filling out the graphic organizer. Okay? If you have questions, feel free to leave me a message on Schoology or come to my office hours at 2 o'clock today. All right, get going, cupies.